Howdy crew, today we'll be going over which welding machine I've decided to get for the welding rig and all the process behind that. Let's get to it. So, choosing the welding machine for the welding rig. As y'all have seen in the prior video, I'm going with Miller because I've had much better experiences with Miller than I have Lincoln. I've used a lot less of Lincoln machines, but I have used them plenty of times in the past. And so for engine drives, I was looking at the Miller Bobcat 265 gasoline engine driven welder, and it's what a lot of welders have out there, and I've seen a lot of rigs and works just fine. But then I was starting to think about an air compressor, and I really don't want to carry an extra piece of equipment in the rig. If it were just all together, that'd be great. So the 265 Bobcat air pack, and it looked just fine, and for a while that's what I've been considering. I've been doing a lot of research in it, and it looks like it would cover a lot of my needs, but I also don't want to limit myself. It doesn't mean I'm going to have the biggest projects in the world to work on. It's not going to be the thickest steel. That would be shop stuff. But I would like to be able to weld very, very, very thick stuff, put enormous amounts of heat down if need be. So I will be going with the Miller Trailblazer. But the Miller Trailblazer 330 doesn't have the air pack. You have to get the Miller Trailblazer 330 air pack. And so it just keeps adding costs. The initial cost for the 265 Bobcat gasoline engine driven welder was going to be about $7,000 to $8,000. Now the step up to the Miller Trailblazer 330 air pack is going to be about $21,000, not counting tax. So add another several thousand on there, so $23,000 going on $24,000 for just that welding machine, not counting the wire feeder, any of that other stuff that has to be in addition to the engine driven machine. But that's what I'm going to be planning on. All the measurements, everything's going to be the Miller Trailblazer 330 air pack, which is very expensive, but I don't want to limit myself. I don't want to have a machine get called out to a site and I can't work on something for some reason. I want to have as much ability as possible. Yes, I could go with the Big Blue, but I'm not going to. That's overkill for just what I want to do. Anything that I should be able to do, it's going to be done with the Trailblazer. I've used Big Blue on job sites before, but they're huge and that would take up all the space in the back of the truck pretty much. I mean, they're massive pieces. Sometimes they even have trailers for them. I've seen Trailblazers on trailers and I've seen Big Blues on trailers, and the Big Blues are massive. And I don't want to deal with that. The Trailblazer, it is bigger and longer with the air pack in it, but that way there's not an extra machine. It's all in one. There's no tank. It is a tankless machine. It can do 80 to 160 psi at 33 CFM, which is great. And so air carbon arc, that's all fine and dandy. I don't have to worry about an extra machine, plugs going in different places. I don't have to worry about any of that. Extra things be bolted down. So that is my final decision. I've been debating that a lot. I've always thought the Bobcat would be enough, but I just want to be on extra safe side, go with the Trailblazer, and it has so much more power for the different processes, stick, MIG, TIG, flux. I wouldn't expect too much of MIG. I'm just basically going to be doing flux core. If something's a small project, I'll just use small flux core wire. I will have a CO2 tank as well, but I'd rather just stick with flux. I like flux more, just personal preference. But MIG is fine, it's super easy. It's very easy. But the Trailblazer 330 air pack is what I'll be going with. So that's kind of my final decision on measurements, everything that's gonna be going attached to it, all that good stuff. That's just my reasoning for getting the Trailblazer instead of Bobcat. If y'all are starting a rig and you want something that's not as expensive as a Trailblazer, Bobcats work just fine. I'm not saying Bobcat is not enough. I'm never gonna say that a Bobcat is not a strong machine, that it can't handle good loads, it doesn't have a good duty cycle. It has all those good things, but I just wanted more, heavier duty cycle, more amps, more volts, all that stuff. I wanted just more power. If y'all ever watched Home Improvement growing up, more power. And so we're gonna have more power with the Trailblazer. 330 air pack. So anyways, that was today's video. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next video.